The space station floated like a silver moon in the darkness of space. Lights blinked across its surface. Ships came and went. Traders, soldiers, smugglers. Among them was a strange ship, old but fast. It belonged to a merchant named Varric. He was known for one thing: collecting rare and strange creatures from across the galaxy. Today he brought something new. In a glass cage, sitting silently, was a small creature. 2 legs, 2 arms, soft skin, messy brown hair. It wore a simple, gray shirt and pants, no claws, no teeth, no armor. It didn't roar or hiss, it didn't even blink much. "What is that thing?" an alien asked, peering at it through the glass. "It's called a human," Varric said with a grin. "From a planet named Earth. Very far, very dangerous place, but this one, harmless, trained." The aliens laughed. The creature looked weak, tiny, quiet. It just sat there staring at nothing. A child alien, curious and cruel, picked up a small stone and threw it at the glass. It hit the wall near the creature. The human flinched, just a little, but didn't move, didn't cry, didn't speak. The crowd laughed again. "This is your big catch?" someone said. "It looks like it would die if I sneezed on it." Varric shrugged. "It eats little, sleeps quiet, needs no leash. It is very smart and very loyal, but only to me." "What's it good for?" The merchant smiled. "You'll see. But one thing, don't ever touch me. Not if you value your life." The crowd thought it was a joke, but Varric wasn't joking. Later that night, the station's corridors were quiet. Lights dimmed, most shops closed, but one figure stayed awake. A thief, tall, slippery. He had seen the human earlier and heard the laughter. He didn't believe in scary stories. To him, Varric's ship looked full of treasures. The thief waited, silent in the shadows, until the merchant walked alone back to his quarters. Step by step he followed. His claws made no sound. Varric didn't look back. He never looked afraid. The thief reached for his blade. He moved quickly and grabbed Varric's shoulder from behind, ready to spin him and steal what he could. But in that moment, everything changed. A whisper of wind, a blur, a shape moved between them. The thief didn't see what hit him. One moment he stood with his hand on Varric's shoulder. The next he was on the floor, choking, gasping, eyes wide. The human stood over him, breathing slow, calm, not a scratch on her. But her hands were red, not with her blood. The thief tried to crawl away, but she stepped forward, slowly, her head tilted as if curious. She didn't speak, didn't growl, just watched him with those cold human eyes. Varric bent down and looked at the thief. "I warned you," he said. "Don't touch me." He turned to the human. "Enough." The human lowered her hand and stepped back, quiet as before. The station guards arrived a few minutes later. The thief was alive, but barely. Bones cracked, skin bruised. He couldn't speak. His eyes kept looking around in fear, as if the monster was still there. Varric gave a simple report. "He tried to rob me. My pet defended me." The guards looked at the human, small, soft, quiet, still standing behind Varric like a shadow. It didn't look like it could break anything, but the fear in the thief's face told the truth. The guards didn't ask more questions. In the days that followed, the story spread. "A human did that? I thought they were weak." Maybe not. Many still laughed. Others started watching, their backs. In the merchant's quarters, the human sat again in silence. Like a pet. Like nothing had happened. But everyone remembered what happened when someone touched her human. The space station was no longer quiet. Rumors moved faster than ships. Everyone talked about the human, the pet that broke a thief without weapons, without sound. Some believed it, some laughed, some wanted to see it with their own eyes. The security footage was locked, but one officer had seen it. He didn't sleep that night. On the screen, the human didn't move until the very moment the thief touched Varric's shoulder. Then it was like time skipped. One frame, she was sitting. The next, She was standing over the thief. The officer replayed it over and over. There was no in-between. No one moves that fast. Inside the trade zone, Varric's ship remained docked. He stood outside it, selling small items, gems, rare tech, caged creatures from burning worlds. But no one looked at the wares. Everyone looked at the human sitting in the same glass cage as still as a stone. One alien merchant, bold and drunk, approached. "This is the beast?" he said loudly. "This little thing?" Varric didn't answer. He just smiled. The drunk alien leaned close to the glass. The human didn't look at him. She didn't blink. Her hands rested on her lap, calm, cold. "She looks asleep. Maybe I should test her," the alien said, laughing. Varric's eyes narrowed. "You can test her," he said, "but only after you touch me." The merchant paused. He didn't like that answer. Another voice joined in. A curious one, a security officer, not in uniform, watching. "Why is she loyal to you?" he asked. Varric looked at the officer. "She's not loyal," he said. "She's, connected." "What do you mean?" The merchant's smile faded a little. "You wouldn't understand. It's not control. It's something older, something from her world. You see, on Earth, they don't keep pets like this. They bond with them. They protect each other. That's what humans are. They protect who they love, even if it kills them." The officer raised a brow. "She loves you?" "I showed her kindness. That's enough." The officer nodded and walked away, but his thoughts were spinning. Later that night, the officer returned. He went to the security room, sat down, pulled up the footage again. Pause. Rewind. Play. He focused on the human's face. The moment the thief touched Varric, her eyes opened. But they weren't normal eyes anymore. They were something else. No rage. No fear. Just cold. Perfect. Action. Like a machine. Like death wearing skin. The officer shut the screen off. Back at Varric's ship, the human sat still. But something was different tonight. Inside the cage, her head slowly turned toward a shadow. Another figure stood nearby, quiet, tall, and watching. It was an alien bounty hunter, dressed in black armor, half his face burned from an old war. He had heard the stories and wanted to see the truth for himself. He stared at her. She stared back. Then he leaned forward and whispered, "What are you really?" No answer. He tapped the glass. "I've killed beasts twice your size." Still no answer. He smiled and walked away. But her eyes followed him until he vanished into the station's halls. In the shadows, she waited. The next morning, the news spread again. The bounty hunter was found outside the docking bay. Not dead, but broken. Arm twisted, leg shattered. Breathing, but barely. No one saw who did it. Except one old janitor. He spoke in whispers. I saw her walking behind him. Just walking. And he started screaming. By now, many stopped laughing. Others got curious. A rich alien noble came down from the upper decks. He had power, influence, and questions. He entered Varric's hall with guards beside him. "I want her," the noble said. "She's not for sale," Varric replied. "I'll pay anything." "She's not a thing," the noble frowned. "You keep her in a cage." Varric leaned forward. "The cage is not for her. It's for everyone else." The noble laughed. "You think she's dangerous?" "No," said Varric. "I know she is." The noble nodded to one of his guards. The guard walked forward and pushed Varric. Not hard, but enough. The room went cold. The human stood. Everyone froze. Her eyes glowed with something strange. Her hands opened, slow. Her body relaxed like a predator stretching before the hunt. The guard dropped his weapon. She took one step. Only one. And everyone in the room felt it. Like pressure in the air. Like death breathing on their necks. Varric raised a hand. "No," She stopped. Just like that. Silence. The noble swallowed. What is she? Varric looked at the human, then back at the noble. She's what your nightmares are made of, he said, but only if you touch what's hers. That day, no one touched Varric again, not even by accident. The station's rules didn't change, but the people did, because now they knew the truth. The pet was never harmless. It was just waiting. The station had never been so quiet. People still walked the metal halls. Ships still came and left. The lights still blinked across the ceiling like stars. But something had changed. No one got too close to Varric's ship now. No one even looked at the human for too long. They still called her the pet, but only in whispers. Everyone remembered the guard who was broken with just a stare, the bounty hunter who vanished into pain, the thief who never spoke again. The human didn't speak. She barely moved. She just sat in her cage, quiet as ever. But now the silence was heavy. Some aliens called it a trick, a show. They said Varric used tech to fake everything. Others weren't so sure. In the lower decks, a group of mercenaries gathered around a table. All were armed. All had seen war. One of them, a scarred lizard-like creature, slammed his cup on the table. She's just a tiny thing, he growled. Skinny, no claws, no armor. I've fought beasts on lava worlds bigger than 10 of her. Cyborg across from him spoke in a low voice. Then go touch her owner. See what happens. The lizard's eyes narrowed. Maybe I will. But he didn't move. None of them did. That same day, a young station worker, barely more than a boy, walked past Varric's ship. He stopped and stared through the glass at the human. She looked at him just once. Her eyes were soft this time. Not cold. Not deadly. Just tired. The boy stepped closer. Are you okay? He asked in a small voice. She didn't answer, but she didn't look away. For a moment she didn't look like a killer at all. She looked sad, alone. The boy stood there for a few seconds more, then walked away. Behind him, the human finally blinked. That night, the station's commander called a private meeting with his top officers. She's dangerous, one of them said. You've seen the reports. She hasn't attacked without cause, said another. Only when her owner was touched. And if someone else owns her next? Asked the commander. What then? No one had an answer. They watched the footage again. Still no sound. Just that same moment. The human rising, fast as lightning. Faster. The commander sighed. We can't allow a weapon like that to sit on a trade deck. So what do? He looked at the screen for a long time. We take her. The order was quiet. Secret. A Black Ops team would handle it. No alarms, no warning. But word travels, fast on a station, and some ears hear everything. In a dark corner deep inside the pipes of the ship, something crawled. A tiny bot. Hidden, listening, watching. And the next morning, before the soldiers could move, the human was already awake. She stood before Varric inside the ship, as if she sensed what was coming. You don't have to do anything, he told her softly. You don't have to protect me. I can leave. She shook her head once. I don't want you to get hurt, he added. She stepped forward, just a little. Placed one hand on his chest, and then she looked at the door as if saying, they'll get hurt, not me. Hours passed, the team never came. Why? Because in a hallway near the barracks they found a message, written in strange red ink on the wall. It said, I see you, stay away. No one saw who wrote it. But security reviewed the footage, and the hallway went dark for exactly 3 seconds that night. 3 seconds of nothing. Enough time for a ghost to leave a warning. The soldiers refused to go. Fear grew inside the hearts of the bold. The station, once filled with laughter and noise, now walked carefully. Every guard stayed back. Every traitor kept their distance. But there were still some who didn't believe. One was a rich alien named Kravik. He was cruel and proud. He collected rare creatures and saw the human as a trophy. "She's just a trick," he said. "A bluff." He paid off a local to test it. The local was tall, fast, and armed. He waited until Varric stepped out alone into a shop. The man reached for Varric's arm, but before he could touch it, the lights in the hallway blinked. One blink, two. Then came a loud crash. When the guards arrived, the attacker was hanging upside down from the ceiling, wrapped in wire, eyes wide with terror. Scratched into the metal beside him were 3 words: "Don't touch him." Varric walked past the scene, calm as always. The human followed a few steps behind, like a shadow, still silent, still deadly, and, now, feared by all. The space station had grown cold, not in temperature but in feeling. People spoke in hushed tones. Laughter was rare now. Even the boldest aliens walked more carefully. Everyone was afraid of the small, quiet creature in Varric's ship. Still, no one really knew what she was. Some thought she was a weapon. Others believed she was cursed. But one scientist named Dr. Wren wanted the truth. She wasn't afraid. She was curious. Dr. Wren was a tall, thin alien with bright yellow eyes and 4 fingers on each hand. She had studied thousands of species. To her, fear was just a puzzle waiting to be solved. One evening she approached Varric. "I want to study her," she said. "Blood sample, reflex tests, nothing painful." "No," Varric replied. "I'll pay. She's not for sale." "Doctor?" Wren narrowed her eyes. "She's not a pet. She's a survivor. I've seen footage. She reacts like a soldier. No, faster. Like she's lived in war." Varric stayed silent for a moment. Then he said, "She has." Dr. Wren leaned forward. "Tell me." Varric looked at the human who stood behind him still as ever. Then he spoke, slowly. "She comes from a world called Earth. You think your planets are rough? Earth is a death world. Gravity strong, storms deadly, animals bite, plants poison. And the humans? They don't just survive it, they grow stronger in it. She grew up in a place called the Wastes. No food, no help. Just fire and war." Dr. Wren blinked. "She survived that?" Varric nodded. "She didn't just survive. She became something else. Something her enemies feared." "Why was she captured?" "She wasn't. She let herself be taken." Dr. Wren stared at the human. "Then why stay with you?" Varric didn't answer. But the human turned her head slightly, meeting Wren's gaze. No hate, no anger, just warning. Dr. Wren stepped back. Later that night, she sent a message to her lab team. "Do not approach the human," she wrote. "She's not dangerous because she's broken. She's dangerous because she's whole." But others didn't listen. A group of alien pirates docked at the station the next day. Loud, wild, full of pride. They heard the stories, they laughed. "A death worlder in a cage?" the pirate captain roared. "Let's go see her." They walked right up to Varric's ship, 5 of them, armed. One pirate tapped the glass. The human didn't move. The captain leaned in. "Heard you're tough," he sneered. "I fought monsters bigger than ships. You're just skin and bones." She blinked once. Slowly, another pirate reached for Varric, just to test the story. In 1 second, the glass cage opened. They didn't even see how. The human stepped out. No weapons, no sound, no mercy. 3 seconds later, 2 pirates were on the ground. One screamed, one didn't. The others backed away, terrified. The captain pulled his blaster, but it was gone, already, in her hand. She crushed it like paper. He dropped to his knees. "Please," he whispered. She tilted her head, studying him. Then she turned her back and walked away. Didn't say a word. Didn't need to. The message was clear. Don't test her. Again, the station was silent for days after that. Even criminals left early. Traders rushed deals. Security doubled their rounds, but not near Varric's ship. Dr. Wren watched from afar. She took notes. "She's not just strong," she whispered to herself. "She's choosing to be calm. That's what scares them." Meanwhile, Varric sat with the human one quiet evening. She sat beside him, staring at nothing. "You don't have to protect me," he said gently. "You're free to go. I never owned you." She didn't answer, but then she slowly reached into her pocket and took something out. It was a small broken necklace. Metal, worn, shaped like Earth's moon. Varric took it carefully. "Is this from home?" She nodded. For the first time, she looked sad, really sad. And for the first time, Varric asked, "Do you miss it?" She looked at him. Her voice came out quiet and rough. Just one word. Every day. That night, Varric didn't sleep. He looked at the stars, wondering what kind of world could shape a being so deadly, so silent, and yet so human. And in her cage, though it was never locked, the human slept like stone. But her dreams were full of fire, and her hands curled as if still ready to fight. It happened in the middle of the night. The lights on the station flickered once, just for a second. A flash. Most people ignored it. But inside Varric's ship, something was wrong. The human opened her eyes. She didn't move. She listened. The ship was too quiet. Varric always snored a little when he slept, and the engines made a soft hum. But now, silence. She stood. Varric's room was empty. No signs of struggle, no blood, no broken things. Just gone. The human didn't panic. She didn't shout or run. She just blinked once. Then she walked out. The docking bay was empty. No alarms. No guards. But she saw it. A small mark on the floor. A burn mark. Fresh. A teleport signature. Someone had taken him, and she was going to get him back. Word spread fast the next morning. "Varric is missing. Kidnapped. They took him in the night." The crew blamed pirates. Others said bounty hunters. But one alien whispered, "Maybe someone wanted the human to break." In the center of the station, the security team gathered. Dr. Wren was there too. She looked at the footage. Nothing showed Varric being taken. Only one moment mattered. Right after. It showed the human walking through the halls, her eyes locked forward, her steps slow and heavy. Not angry, not wild. Focused. "She's hunting," Wren whispered. The first ones to go missing were the smugglers. They had laughed about the kidnapping. Said Varric deserved it for keeping a pet. That night, their ship lost contact. No bodies were found. Just their weapons, piled neatly on the floor. Then a gang of bounty hunters vanished. The only thing left behind was a single word carved into a steel door. Return. Panic spread. Even the station commander was afraid. "She'll tear this place apart," he said. "Then give her what she wants," Wren replied. "But we don't know who took him." "Yes, we do," she said. "We just don't want to admit it." There was one group powerful enough to teleport without being seen. One group who hated humans. One group who had tried before to buy the girl and been refused. The noble families of the core planets. They saw her not as a person, but as property. And now they had taken what mattered to her. Back on her ship, the human was no longer there. She had left the station. No one saw her go, no ship logs, no trace. Just a message burned into her cage wall. "I warned you." She didn't take a crew. She didn't bring weapons. She didn't ask for help. She didn't need any of it. Varric was hers, and nothing in the galaxy could stop her. Far across the stars, on a rich private moon, a group of noble aliens sat in a long glass hall. Varric lay in a chair, half-conscious. He was alive, but barely. "He'll bait her out," said the lead noble. "She's too dangerous to let roam. Once she comes, we kill her." They had walls of energy, traps, guards, hunters, all ready. But they didn't understand. The human wasn't coming like prey. She was coming like fire. She landed on the moon without sound. No alarms went off. The guards didn't see her. Not until it was too late. One by one, the security cameras went dark. One by one, the traps failed. A guard saw her move, just a shadow, and tried to shoot. His blaster was gone before his finger reached the trigger. She moved through steel doors like wind through leaves. She didn't scream. She didn't speak. But everyone in that building began to feel it. The cold, the pressure in their chest, like death was watching. Inside the noble's chamber, panic started. She's here. Impossible, she's unarmed. She's human. No, said the leader. She's something worse. Then the lights went out. Silence. And a single knock echoed on the door. Boom. 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 The door melted inward. She stepped through the smoke. Behind her, no flames, no army, just her shadow. But the nobles couldn't move. She walked past, the guards, untouched. She stood beside Varric and looked at him. His eyes opened slightly. You came, he whispered. She nodded, then turned, and the nobles ran. They screamed for their guards, but no one answered, because no one was left. She didn't chase them. She just stood there calm, and the air around her told them everything. If you ever touch him again, you won't get to run next time. She lifted Varric gently and walked out. Didn't kill, didn't speak, didn't need to. Everyone who saw her that day understood one truth. She may have looked like a fragile human, but she was built from something the galaxy feared most: love mixed with rage. After the rescue, the space station was never the same. Varric was healing, slowly. He had bruises and burns, but he was alive. The medics said he should have been dead, but something strange had happened. They found energy traces on his body, protective ones, the kind seen in experimental force shields, but older, wilder. No, one could explain it except one, the human. She didn't speak about it. She sat beside Varric's bed, silent, watchful, like always. But something in her had changed. She was no longer just protecting him. She was planning, watching the galaxy more carefully now. She knew the nobles weren't done. Neither was she. Doctor, Wren visited the medbay. She spoke softly to Varric, careful not to upset the human. You need to hide, she said. Varric shook his head. You don't understand, this isn't over, she doesn't run. Dr. Wren looked at the human. She's too powerful, too dangerous. She's a weapon. No, Varric said. She's a survivor. Wren paused. Same thing. The human stood up then. Without a word, she walked out of the room. The galaxy had taken her silence for weakness. It wouldn't make that mistake again. News spread. The core families were humiliated. Their finest guards destroyed. Their traps useless. Their fortress broken by one small human. They called for revenge. They called her a threat to peace. They called her a monster. But others began to whisper a new name. The ghost of Earth. People started to ask, where is Earth? Are there more like her? What kind of place makes beings like that? The core tried to block all questions, but it was too late. The story was already alive. Weeks later, a strange ship arrived at the station. Black, sharp and silent. No name, no flags. But it carried a message. A war was coming. A real one. Not politics, not trade. A galactic purge, a fleet of machines, ancient, endless, and mindless, had awakened beyond the dark edge of the stars. They had no leaders, no emotion, only one purpose: wipe out all life. The core families called them myths, but the station picked up their signals, and suddenly, fear returned. No one could stop them, no army, no tech, no shield, until someone asked, "What, about the human?" At first the idea was a joke, then a hope, then a plan. She didn't answer right away. She sat beside Varric's bed, quiet. He looked at her. You don't have to fight. Not again. She looked down at her hands, then up at the stars, and finally, she spoke, her voice low, calm. I belong out there. Varric nodded slowly. Then go. She stood, and the galaxy trembled. She didn't wear armor. She didn't carry heavy guns. She didn't need a title or a rank. Just her name, and her silence. The day she left, hundreds stood to watch. Traitors, soldiers, even criminals. Some saluted, others stayed quiet. But all of them believed one thing: she was no pet. She was a warrior born of fire, loss, and love. And as she walked toward her ship, someone in the crowd whispered, "That's not a human." Another replied, "That's what the galaxy made when it pushed one too far." The station commander, watching from above, turned to Dr. Wren. "Why would she fight for us?" he asked. Wren smiled. "She's not fighting for us." "Then why?" "She's fighting because someone once took her only light. She's fighting so no one else has to lose theirs." And then, without sound, her ship launched. It vanished into the stars like a spark, waiting to set the darkness on fire. The war had begun, and the galaxy's last hope was the quiet girl no one took seriously until it was far, far too late. The war came like a storm. Planets fell, moons turned to dust. Space was full of fire and broken ships. The machines didn't talk. They didn't ask. They just destroyed. Everyone ran, but one ship flew toward them. Small, silent, human. She was inside, no crew, no backup, just her. The machines didn't care at first. One target was nothing to them. They sent 5 hunter ships to stop her. She tore through all 5 in 30 seconds. No one understood how. She didn't use normal weapons. She moved between the stars like she belonged there. Fast, precise, cold. Each time she struck, something ancient glowed behind her eyes, like Earth itself was fighting through her. The galaxy watched in silence. Was this one human stopping a war? No, she was starting her own. On the space station, Varric listened to reports. He sat up now, healing fast. But his heart was heavy. "She's alone," he said. Dr. Wren stood nearby. "She's more than she looks." "She shouldn't have to be," Varric whispered. They watched the screen. Her ship danced through enemy fire, too fast to follow. Machine cruisers exploded behind her, and for the first time in centuries, the enemy backed away. But they weren't done. The machine core, deep in a black hole system, was still alive. If it wasn't destroyed, the machines would return forever. And she knew it. She flew straight for it. Alone. The core was like nothing, alive. A metal world, cold and massive, bigger than any moon. Thousands of defense turrets, energy shields. And at the center, the machine mind. She landed on it. No words. No fear. They came for her. Thousands of machine soldiers. She didn't run. She moved through them like smoke through cracks. Fast, invisible, deadly. Her hands glowed with something, not made by science, rage, memory, Earth's ghost. She saw the control chamber. She walked toward it, every step, more resistance. She was shot, cut, slammed into walls. She bled, but she didn't stop. One soldier got close. It spoke, the only machine that ever did. "You cannot win." She looked at it with fire in her eyes. "I already did," she said. Then she crushed it. Inside the control core, she found it. The brain, old, cold, beating like a heart made of metal. She looked at it for a long moment. Then she pulled something from her neck. The moon-shaped necklace. Broken. Burned. She placed it against the core. It glowed, not with fire, with memory. Her family. Her home. Her planet. Her pain. Her love. And then she whispered, one last word, "Remember." The core pulsed, then screamed, and everything went white. The galaxy held its breath. Ships watched from afar. Stations stood silent. Varric gripped the screen. Dr. Wren closed her eyes. The machine world cracked, then collapsed into itself. Gone. Every machine across the galaxy dropped. Dead. The war was over, but her ship didn't return. Days passed, then weeks. Some said she died with the machines, others believed she survived, and vanished like Earth's shadow. But one day, a signal came. Small, quiet, a voice, "Still here," Varric cried. He knew. She wasn't just alive. She had won. Years later, stories spread everywhere, of a human who destroyed the unstoppable, of a girl who became a flame. Children played games pretending to be her. Aliens wrote songs, drew art, carved statues. But the real her? No one saw her again. Except sometimes. When a ship was under attack, when a crew was about to fall, a silent figure would appear, one flash of motion, one whisper of wind. Then, gone. Some say she's still watching, still protecting, still waiting for the next danger. Because in the end, she wasn't a pet. She wasn't a soldier. She wasn't even just human. She was what happens when the galaxy forgets to fear the quiet ones, and when someone takes what they love, they will burn the stars to get it back.